Welcome back, Warriors. We are so excited to be dropping today's episode 11. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest on with us today. And you are absolutely going to love this human. Her name is Camelia, aka Mimi Felton. She is a Yoga Alliance 200 RYT yoga teacher, a Kidding Around Yoga certified kids yoga teacher, and a certified meditation instructor. She's also a YBB Yoga Behind Bars certified trauma informed instructor for yoga and a Reiki 2 practitioner. Mimi started Mimi's Yoga Kids in 2018 after realizing the many benefits of doing yoga with her young grandson. She knew that this was something that kids and their families really needed. She couldn't find what she wanted, so she decided to create it. She is very excited to share all of the wonderful practices that she knows with children and their families. She wants to share her knowledge with the world to cultivate awareness on how these wonderful practices can teach all of us, especially our children, mindfulness, inner peace, meditation, and imagination. All right, Abby, recap for us how the conversation went with Mimi.
Yeah. This conversation was super fun. Obviously, talking about anxiety and people's stories are always really interesting. Mimi shares that she paints this like beautiful picture of just standing in her house and it's raining outside and she's in her PJs when she has this huge aha moment that life doesn't have to be the way that it is. You know, she doesn't have to be feeling the anxiety and the comparisons that she's been feeling her whole life up until that moment. And she shares a little bit more about some monumental moments along the way and ultimately how this journey has led her to have a really healthy relationship with her anxiety and has also helped her in learning how to trust herself and really practice self-love so that she just feels like she can walk around in the world being true to herself and who she is. So it was a really interesting conversation.
I wholeheartedly agree. It was such a joy to listen to her, and we cannot wait for you all to hear her speak. Here she is. Welcome, Mimi. Thank you so much for joining us on the Anxiety Warriors podcast.
What?
We so appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us this afternoon. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling awesome and I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be sitting here with you guys, just having some fun and chatting it up.
Yes, amazing. We're so excited about that too. For everyone listening, you will get to know very soon that Mimi is just the world's warmest, most genuine, kind, loving is soul. And we just feel so honored that you are going to be gracing us with some amazing information about who you are and your anxiety warrior journey.
Yeah.
So, speaking on that, let's just jump right in. Tell us a little bit about your anxiety story.
So, where my anxiety story started, just to kind of, put everything kind of like in a little mini movie, if you will. Mine started at about 30, to be quite honest with you. I was a young wife, a mom of four. And my 30th birthday, it just hit me, it hit me all of a sudden. Like I didn't want to do some of the things I was doing. I wasn't in the place I wanted to be at 30. And so I can clearly remember that day like it was yesterday. It was raining. I had my pajamas on and I just could not enjoy that day. I struggled the entire day. I cried. I was in and out of emotions. I felt a lot of anxiety that day because I just felt like, okay, now what, and just fast forwarding, so many things happen that I was constantly in a struggle with anxiety and worrying and fatigue and not sleeping, not taking care of myself. It just spiraled down from there, and so I really had to take a look in the mirror at myself and really see what it is I needed to do to change my life because I was not going down a good path at all.
Wow. I mean, that sounds so huge. Like, I mean, 30's pretty young, right? Like, depending on how old you
Now
are.
it seems young.
Now it's yeah, because they're all
It
over
didn't
30.
then. It didn't
Right.
then.
It didn't then. And you had 4 kids. And all of a sudden you have like all of these pressures of like maybe who you should be or what you should be doing. And you're realizing that what pressure was being put on you, like wasn't right for you, or however the life was it was like that aha moment that like, wait, something is not working here.
Bingo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like that seems like pretty overwhelming, right? And the fact that like you remember the day and you remember being in your PJs and you remember it raining, it sounds like that moment was like a huge
Pivotal.
aha moment for you.
It was, because like I said, I was a young mom. I had all of these kids. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. Most of my friends were like, doing their careers. They were out traveling, living their lives, doing all the things. And, at the time I felt like I'm here stuck at home with all these kids. I can't move like I want. I can't do the things I want to do. And it just manifested into like a little depression and anxiety. It was just not a good time in my life, looking back on, you know.
Yeah. And I think so many people can relate to comparing yourself to others.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then like, oh, I don't have what they have. Right. I have this life and it's fine. But like, there's all these other things I want and I'm not where I want to be. And that can create just so much discomfort and anxiety, not being where you want to be. Yeah. Wow.
And just the sense of kind of like what you both are touching on, just like this not enoughness feeling, right? That we so often, I think, put on ourselves. I think the dawn of the internet certainly hasn't helped that for a lot of folks, I think. So maybe some of that contributes, right, to some of our anxieties as people. But even then, right, when you turned 30, it was a little while ago. But how has your anxiety journey changed or ebbed and flowed since then? Like, so you noticed, okay, I'm anxious. I'm having anxiety surrounding turning 30 and not really feeling in love with where I am in my life. So, how are you comfortable with sharing your current age?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm currently 46. So that was 16 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And so much has happened in that span of time: good, bad, ugly, high, low, up, down, flip flop. I mean, just all over the place. But today I can honestly say that I am emotionally in the best place of my life, the best place that I've ever been. And guys, that was an ugly process, but it was a beautiful, necessary process, just kind of fast forwarding. At 40 was another big dip in my life. 30, when I kind of started to make some changes in my life and realize things that I needed to do for myself and started to take better care of myself. I started working outside of the home, created little things that brought me joy. I kind of got on the up and up, right? But at 40, I got knocked down again. Well, it was actually 39. It was right before my 40th birthday. I got knocked down again. And so another thing that kind of brought me back to that place of anxiety, really heavy anxiety. My oldest daughter was incarcerated for a crime that she did not commit. And she was actually, in jail for 2.5 years, right? And at the time of this, she was pregnant. She was 2 months pregnant, actually, when all of this was going on. And make a long story short, she had the baby while incarcerated. I had to bring that baby home with me. Elijah, you guys can kind of see him, on the internet because I share, well, he's one of the reasons why I teach kids yoga today. But bringing him home and having to take care of him, trying to make sure she stays in a good place, trying to take care of myself, trying to take care of my other kids. I had become a single mother because I got divorced like in my 30s. So it was just a whirlwind of things that were going on. And so I think that was another big anxiety season, if you will, of my life, right? And so once again, I had to work through it. I had to find ways to keep my mental, physical, and emotional state in a good place so I could take care of all these people that were dependent on me and take care of myself in the process, right? So here again, just that's when yoga became very pivotal in my life. meditation, mindfulness, finding support that would keep me lifted. And it was just another changing, point in my life. It was like 30 and then 40. So I'm like, what's going to happen when I turn 50?
Wow.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah. I mean, there's so much in just that short like decade of time, right?
Yes.
Like you realize you needed to make changes and you made changes. You're like, okay, like I'm going to have a job and I'm going to do this. And then at 39, like you're not like sometimes with anxiety you can prepare. Like, okay, I have a test, I have public speaking, I can prepare for that type of
Right.
anxiety, but
Right.
something like your daughter being incarcerated for a crime she didn't commit. Like, I can't even imagine how you navigate that. And it sounds like just so powerful and inspiring that you didn't let that circumstance hold you down. You're like, okay, I have a baby, I am or a grandchild, I'm inspired by this grandchild. But also you started finding new ways of managing and navigating the anxiety so that you could be a source of support for so many people.
Right.
So I love that you mentioned already some of the coping strategies, some of the stuff that you kind of attached yourself to. And when you and I spoke before we started recording a while back, you had mentioned that one of the things you noticed was that you were constantly holding things in and not really communicating your needs, right? And that since you kind of mentioned to me that you learned to be more honest with yourself. So like, could you just speak a little bit more on that? Because I feel like that was a really powerful part of our conversation.
Yes. I think that was kind of how the anxiety kind of planted itself, because I would hold a lot in. I wouldn't share emotions or things that I was going through. I just kind of, went through life like, oh, I'm good, I'm okay. But I was literally just suffering on the inside. And so when I would get to that point of boiling where, the water just, it just can't, take it anymore, I would just explode to the point where people are like, okay, you might need some help, because the emotions would get the best of me. And it was just not good. It wasn't good for me or the people around me. And so since then, I've learned, when I'm not in a good space or when I'm not feeling myself, say that, and that's so important just for your mental health, just saying, I'm not okay today, or I'm not in the best mood today, or I need some help. I need some time. I need some support. Those I think really help with anxiety because you're free to just be in a space to just be,
Yeah.
and that's a wonderful place to be. We can't do everything and we can't be everything.
Right.
That alone causes so much unnecessary anxiety, and so I'm a big advocate now for especially women, mommies, or teachers, just women in general. Just say, I need help. I need help with that takes strength, that
Yeah.
takes courage to say that I need help,
Right.
you know
Right. It's an act of bravery. It's not a sign of weakness.
It's not. It's so much strength in that because I firmly believe we're stronger together. And there's so many women that are going through the same thing, that are feeling the same things. Just imagine how we could support each other and just build each other up in such a way where we're already strong, right? We're strong even when we're going through all of these things. Imagine how much stronger we are and how much stronger we can be when we have that support to stand on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully feel all of that. It's so true. We often look at asking for help as a sign of weakness in our own heads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think just being able to, as Abby said, take that act of bravery, take that step to say, I need a little bit of support right now. Right. And so I think it's amazing that you were able to learn to start communicating your needs.
Right. It's
And
okay
another
to
thing
like,
that I've learned, the power of no.
We're big proponents
yes.
of no.
Yes.
Not no, but not no,
Mhm.
and just no.
No.
Yeah. Right.
And they
I
can figure out the rest of it.
right.
But
You don't
it's
even
just
need to explain it.
no.
You don't have to explain why you're saying no. They don't
Mm-mm.
even, yeah. Yeah.
I used to do that. No, but in here, well, I can't because da, 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 and then you end up saying yes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, when you meant no.
Yeah. Right. You like justify it to
That
yourself.
causes anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we just feel the need sometimes to explain ourselves a lot too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the people pleasing part of us, I think. Because
Mm-hmm.
even if we're still sticking to our no, but we're giving reasons why, as Abby said, justifying or trying to make sense of it for the other person where maybe they don't deserve all that information or they don't need it, or
Yeah.
maybe they don't even want it. And you just kind of to yourself feel, I need to elaborate on why I'm saying no, when in fact, maybe you don't need to. Right.
Yeah. I was the queen of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. So, what would you say your relationship is to anxiety now? If you had to like put a phrase or a thought or a word on it.
It's a healthy relationship,
Mm.
because as human beings, I think we all have anxiety at some point or another. We wouldn't be human if we didn't, right? So to walk around and say, "Oh, I don't have anxiety," you're not telling the truth. We all have different forms of it, right? It manifests in different ways for different people. So for me to sit here and say that I don't have anxiety wouldn't be the truth.
Right.
But what I do with the anxiety now is, I call it what it is. I'm
Mm-hmm.
open and honest first with myself and say, okay, I'm feeling this in my body or I'm feeling this in my head. Okay, Camelia, what are you going to do with this? So sometimes it may be sitting with it for a few days to kind of figure it out and work through it. Or it may be just simply saying no to a person or a situation, right? Or, getting on the yoga mat and kind of moving the body and, get some of those emotions and feelings, just release it and let it go. Sometimes we hold on to things that are no longer serving us. Sometimes you just have to let it go. And that's so hard for us sometimes. Why do we want to hold
Mm-hmm.
on to things that are not serving us? Let that go. Let it go. And I've learned, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel the feel, or the feels or whatever, however you want to say that. But just don't stay there, don't stay there. Find ways to work through it. And it's different for everybody, and I've just found what works for me.
Yeah. And it sounds like multiple things work for you based on the type of anxiety you're feeling. And it's not like, oh, I have this anxiety, I'll do this. But it's like, here, I'm going to sit with it and see what I need. Or I'm going to get on my yoga mat. Like you're like willing to be with it and continue until you find the thing that works. And
Right.
sometimes it is just like letting it go. Um,
Mhm.
but I love that because sometimes I just feel like people say like, oh, if you have anxiety, do this, right? Whatever that this is. It's like, oh, you have anxiety. Well, if you just like do longer exhales, you're fine. Oh, you have
Right.
anxiety. And it's like, no, anxiety comes in so many different ways. And you just have to find out the ways that work for you and what's going to work for you in that moment. So I
In
love
that
how,
moment.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And what kind of what Abby, something we're always trying to drive home is that it's not really about being fixed, right? I have to fix the anxiety. I have to escape it. I have to leave it at the door. And while I believe fully in like the practice of letting go, and that's definitely an active practice, I think, for most of us warriors. But as you said, Mimi, that's not always easy. In fact, it can be really, really tricky depending on what's causing our anxiety. One of the things you had brought up, which I really loved this phrase, you said, I do a lot of self evaluation. And so if you wouldn't mind, like, walk us through what that looks like for you when you're experiencing anxiety.
So, how, let me see if I can kind of give an example. Okay, how sometimes somebody may say something and it may offend you?
Mhm.
You could take offense to something and they may not mean anything by it, or they may mean something by it. You don't know. But I've learned to like turn that around and look at myself, and that's not fun and that's not easy to do sometimes because you're like, oh, it's you. No, 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 not always. Sometimes it might be you. And so that's how I look at everything far as anxiety or anything that I may be going through. Remember, I'm a mom of four. We're actually six because blended family. So my husband has two, I have four. So six, children between the two of us and three grandchildren. And so I have to mindfully, do like self evaluations with myself, saying, okay, are you making assumptions, Camelia? Are you, looking at both sides of the situation or both sides of the story? Are you making a sound decision based on your heart or your emotions or your mind? So I do that just across the board with anything that I have going on in my life. And I found that keeps me, I can't speak for anybody else, that keeps me in a good space, because when I've learned to look inward instead of outward, that's we do that a lot. We're trying to find all these solutions on the outside when sometimes everything that we need is right within us. We just have to kind of work through it and pull that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
So self-evaluation is something I do often, or just when I have a lot going on. Just over the last couple of months, I've had a lot of different things going on at one time, and I just had to constantly kind of check myself because I was kind of like at people and things like that, and I was tired. I was maybe tired, or kind of like, wasn't getting enough rest, or kind of focusing on something a little bit more than I probably should have. And that can set up anxiety. And when you start to take it out on other people, that's when you probably need to take a minute and just once again, just kind of sit and just kind of figure out, what's really going on, instead of just keep going. And then after everything kind of ended that I was going through, I crashed like mentally. And it took me a few days to kind of get back to that happy medium. And at first I didn't know what was going on with me. I really didn't. I felt a little sad, and then I felt like, okay, what do I do now? Because I didn't have all this stuff going on, and I felt like, oh, so what do I do now? I don't have anything to do. And that kind of set up some anxiety. Like, I should be moving. I should be this, because I had got up here, and then when I came down, I didn't know what to do. So I had to work myself back up to me.
Yeah. This self-reflection that you're talking about, like, one, it sounds just so valuable, right? But the other part that I'm hearing in this is that you have built a really strong relationship of trust with yourself, because it's so easy to look for external answers, validation, reassurance, and it kind of like sometimes causes anxiety if we're not getting that external validation or reassurance. And I'm just imagining like you noticing the overwhelm or the anxiety, and rather going to like the easier thing in a sense, which is asking someone else, am I doing okay? Right? Is everything okay? Tell me how to fix myself, right? You would sit with yourself and get the answers from you, right? And you trusted those answers to help support you moving forward. So I just really loved that self-reflection piece. But the other part that I really can relate to so much is when we get stuck in the go, 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 and then all of a sudden it stops, and it creates so much anxiety because of that feeling like we should be doing and producing and making and busy. And like that, those moments of stillness all of a sudden are like,
what now?
What do I do?
Isn't that crazy? And I think Margot said that, like, when your body is telling you,
slow down.
Anxiety, it's in our body, and your body is telling you, sweet pea, you need some rest. And instead of listening to it, we want to fight it. We want to keep going when the body's like, no, you need to sit, you need to rest, you need to hush, you need to, you're like, no, I want to go. And so just having that, that struggle with yourself, just learning to, like, that's the part for me, just let it go, just letting go. That's strength too. Just saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to rest. That's another act of bravery and strength,
Right.
And I think just maturity and just all the things I've been through in my life, I've just learned to really listen to myself, instead of, I listened to so many other people for so long. I listened to Camelia first. everybody else is next.
Yeah, because you're in the business of serving others, right? As a kids
Yeah.
yoga teacher, as a mom, as a grandmother, as a wife, as a community member, you work with seniors. I mean, you are a busy woman, and we also live in a culture that that tells us we're supposed to be go, 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 and
Mhm.
forgets about rest and prioritizing our needs. And so, yeah, it's so wonderful when you can reach the place of saying, if I'm not feeling safe and served, I am not going to be able to make others or help others feel safe and served. And
It's
since
so true.
that's your work, and that's the work that all of us do, and even people that aren't in the wellness business or industry out there, you're still out there serving
Yeah.
your families, your communities, and in whatever work and field that you work in. And so, yeah, I think those are just such wonderful, valuable tools that you're using, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Sending sparkles and twinkles. This is what we do here. Lots of sparkle fingers and twinkle fingers. All right. So here's a question. What advice would you give your younger self? Let's say your 29-year-old self, the day before you woke up and turned 30 and things sort of change, and so many things and as you said it beautifully before, the seasons of our lives can sometimes bring different types of anxiety. But since you started there, like, what would you tell your 20-year-old self, your 29-year-old self, if you could today?
Oh, wow. Trust yourself.
Mm.
Believe in yourself. Love yourself unconditionally.
Mm.
The love that you give to everybody else, I never had a problem loving other people. The problem was loving myself. Woo.
Yeah.
I just got a full body chill.
Yeah, me too.
For
I know,
real.
like, me too. Love yourself, Camelia. Coming into my marriage at a very young age, I brought trauma into the marriage. Um, so I had trust issues. I had issues with fully being present. I felt like I dimmed my light for so long, so other people could shine. And little by little, I was dying in the process, and that's why I think 30 was so big for me, because I felt like if I hadn't had that moment, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
You know, you may not see the person that you see today.
Right.
So 30 had to happen the way it happened,
Mm.
because it changed the journey of what I did moving forward.
Yeah.
So I would just tell her, you got this. You can do all the things that you want to do. I think everybody's journey is their journey, and it takes some of us a little bit longer, but I'm so thankful for every single thing that I've gone through in my life, because it has made the human being that I am today. And I love the human being that I am today.
So do
I am
we.
madly in love with her.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
so I
Yeah.
think like
I just want to take notes on every.
yeah.
I'm like, be like that. No. No, and we all have our ways of, but you just communicated that's just so beautifully. And it's
Oh,
true.
thank
It's
you.
clear that you embody those sentiments.
Right, right. Like the advice you would give is what you embody now. Is that self-love? Is that ability to trust yourself? And I think a lot of people, our listeners and non-listeners out there, can relate to wishing they love themselves, wishing they could trust themselves, but not even knowing if it's possible. And you're saying like the
It's
advice is
possible.
possible.
It's
Yeah.
possible. It's work,
Yeah.
it's consistency, and it's just so many things you have to let go. You have to let go of the comparison. You have to let go. Not saying that it doesn't sneak in every now and then. Once again, we're human.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have to kind of limit myself to the things that I look at, because you're like, wait, why? Girl, get off of there. That ain't your business. That is none of your business. You have to whoop, get back in your lane.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane, Camelia. And that's something that it's never been a big thing for me. I don't really, worry about what other people are doing. I've always been like, if everybody's going to the left, you can pretty much be sure that Camelia is going to the right. That's kind of how I've always been. But like I said, we're human, right? But it's it's a mindset, you know. And it took a while to get here, but I'm here, and I just want to teach other women, especially, but all human beings, that, I mean, you can find true happiness, within yourself. Everything else around you is just the icing on the cake.
Yep. Amazing. All right. Well, one more question for you before we dive into some lightning round questions. And that is just, what does being an anxiety warrior mean to you?
Oh, wow. Being an advocate, all the things that I've learned, I've learned in my life, everything that we go through is not necessarily about you. It's to help another person, right? I've had so many women come up to me or say to me or even DM me like, oh my God, like what you said, like, I feel that, or I've gone through that, or, your light, how do you get that light? Or, how can I do this? Or, so I just truly believe that everything that I have gone through has prepared me to help people, to let people know that you can make it. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Don't allow circumstances or things around you to dictate who you are or who you can be. So I'm a big advocate for, you can be the best version of yourself. You just have to do the work. This is not easy. This work that we all do is not easy. We make it look easy, but it's not easy. And even in the process of me helping others, I'm still helping myself. I'm still healing. I'm still growing. I'm still, trying to figure this thing out, but we can do it together. We can do it together. So I'm so grateful for this platform that you two have created. Like, you're amazing. You ladies are amazing. And I'm so thankful that I am in this space, so we can do this work together. We can do this work together. So I'm just happy.
Yay! Amazing. Yeah. I mean, and
did I answer the question?
Yes, you did. You definitely did. I mean, all of it. It's community, it's advocating for ourselves and each other, and
it's knowing it's a lifelong journey, and that it gets better with practice and effort, and that by being in community with others, we're helping them and we're helping ourselves.
And that humaning is hard.
Yeah, humaning is hard.
Humaning, adulting,
all the things.
All the things. But another thing, find your people. Find your people. Find, if you want to grow and expand, you need to be in a space with people that want to grow and expand. If you want to be positive and radiate love and light and peace, you need to surround yourself with that, and that's what I tell people all the time. If you're around negative Nancy all the time, negative Nancy is probably going to keep you negative, so just find the things that you want, surround yourself with that, whatever it is. Find your tribe, I guess. Find your people, find your community, find your atmosphere. Just find whatever you need to help you along that journey, because it's hard when you're trying to do those things by yourself and don't have that support. So find the support that you need.
Love it. I love it. So good. All right. Well, we have reached the lightning round. We need a flash, like whoosh. Oh my gosh. All right. So this is just kind of like, and we've said it before, whenever we do lightning round, it's just take a pause, take a breath. You can consider your answer before answering. You don't have to like, oh no, I need to say it really quick. Otherwise it doesn't count. Take a second if you need it. All right. Abby, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Big question.
Abby's questions are usually more. I just have to say, I always thought that my questions would be the way. I'm pretty sure they're Abby's. Just don't.
So, no. All right. I feel like this is a good one.
Okay.
What is something that makes you smile?
Oh, just waking up in the morning. That makes me smile. If I open my eyes and I can wiggle my toes, I'm smiling.
Yes. Perfect. I mean, and way to go for making me sound bad, Abby. I was like trashing your questions. You're like, what makes you smile?
I know.
It's because I said that. You picked a mild question.
Right. She used her last question. She pulled it to the top.
Yeah. She has me and she's making sounds and I can't. Okay. Love you both. Okay. Here we go. If you could have dinner with any celebrity, alive or dead, who would it be?
Michelle Obama.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. That would be a great dinner.
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite joke?
Oh, Lord. I don't know. What's my favorite joke? Oh, I need my husband.
I feel validated now.
What's my favorite joke?
You need your husband. I love it because he's got all the dad jokes, I'm sure, right?
Yes, he has all the corny jokes. My family's always joking that I'm always like, oh wow. Every time I'm like, oh wow. My husband's like, why is everything oh wow?
I mean, I wish you were around all the time just to like say wow to everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I bought toilet paper. Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. I am feeling good about that. Thank you, Mimi. I adulted
my
today.
husband, sometimes he's like, he'll say something and I'm like, oh wow. He's like, what did I just say? And I'm like, oh.
It's just like your go-to like knee-jerk reaction words. I love it. Oh my gosh. That's so real, Mimi. I love that.
I was totally teaching kids because I would always be like, awesome. And they'd be like, is it really awesome? Like that was so I have the oh wow in the awesome sense. Oh, awesome. I try not to say it on the podcast.
You know, when you meet somebody, you're like, oh wow. I don't even know what they said. You're just like, oh wow. So that's my family's joke. Everything is, oh wow.
So do they say it back to you like when you haven't even said it?
No, they used to. I guess they're just used to it now. They're just like this nut bar because it's like, oh wow.
Everything's oh wow. I love it. My mom does this funny thing. She goes ooh 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 ooh, and it literally she just goes ooh 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 ooh, and it means anything, and it can mean anything under the sun. Like you're about to get hit by a car, or I have something to tell you. Like it expands across all types of conversation. It's ooh 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 ooh. I'm like, someone's about to hit me with a truck, but ooh ooh ooh, or I forgot to let you know that the book that I got from the library came in today. Like about anything.
That's hilarious.
Love you, Mom. All right, here's my next question.
Okay.
What kind of tree would you be if you were a tree?
Palm tree.
Ooh, that was a quick answer.
What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how was it? I don't think I've had. Oh, wait, I've had octopus. What am I talking about?
That was the strangest thing I've had, and I've had it on 2 occasions. So I had it like in a pasta, kind of diced up a little bit, and I didn't really like the texture. So that was that time, and then I had it another time, kind of like I guess kind of seared or whatever, and it had some stuff on it. I don't know. I didn't care.
That's fine. That's fair. We all have our sensory stuff. It all comes in different forms.
I don't want any more octopus.
They will be happy.
Here comes my final question and the final question of lightning round. I am taking a page out of Abby's playbook on this one.
Uh-oh.
She's very excited. Mimi, give us your best impression of a frog.
Yes, I love you.
I don't like. Why do I want to do a rabbit? Ribbit.
It sounds like you're saying Rupert.
Wilbert, what?
Yes.
Wilbert,
It sounds just like that. You got it. You nailed it. Oh my gosh.
Excellent
The
question.
best. Thank you. I was proud of it. I was channeling your questioning energy when I came.
Why do I need to go listen to a frog now when I get off of this call?
Report back with how it sounds. Send us an audio file. Oh my gosh. Well, this was so much fun, Mimi. We are so grateful that you chose to spend time with us this afternoon. We love you so much.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we have a weekly segment called Win of the Week. And so Abby and I share our wins of the week, big or small, or we have our amazing podcast guests share their win of the week, big or small. So do you have a win for us that you'd love to share with our listeners?
I do. So there's a grant that I applied for a couple months ago, I think back in January. And so I got the email, what was it? Monday that I got it.
Congratulations.
Yep. And so it just allows me to continue to do, the work that I've been doing with the seniors and in some of the inner city schools that I really, really love. And so I'm excited. So that's a big win, not only for me, but for the communities that I so love serving.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We love when the wins are like multiple. In one win, there's multiple wins. Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, you have been just the world's best guest. We love you so much. It's been so much fun getting to know a little bit more about your journey, your story, and we love you, Warrior.
Yeah.
So
I love you too, girl.
Yay! Please tell all of our listeners where they can find the amazing Camelia Felton.
So Camelia, aka Mimi Felton, can be found on Instagram. I love the gram. That's why I've met so many amazing people. That's where I am the most as far as social platforms. So Instagram, and it's simply Mimi's Yoga Kids. I am on Facebook as well. You can email me. I have a website, www.mimishyogakids.com. So, all social platforms, you can pretty much find me. But like I said, Instagram is my fave. If you DM me, since I live there, that's probably the best place to start.
Awesome.
Amazing, Mimi. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
It was so awesome to rehear that conversation with Mimi.
Yeah.
She is just such a joy. She's such a light. Everything she says, just fills me up. I don't know. It makes me happy listening to her. And I think that there were so many amazing takeaways from this conversation that we had that it was just so great to relive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one thing that really just sticks out to me, this was my first time ever meeting Mimi. And she is just authentic, right?
Yeah.
Like she understands that none of this is being human is a challenge. And she's like, the fact that she shared, like, it takes a lot of work to get to a good place. It takes a lot of work to love yourself. It takes a lot of work to make the changes you want, and it's challenging, but it's worth it. And just this like lightness and love that came from her just felt like it was all from such an authentic place.
Yeah, I completely agree. You can just feel its energy, and you can feed off of it for sure. And I loved something that held in my heart when I was listening to this conversation back was just how much Mimi has come to trust herself. And I feel like that is such a practice that all of us can work on, is learning how to trust ourselves. And it's a daily thing, but it also just comes with age and practice and experience.
Right.
I love that part.
That definitely stuck out to me too, because it's something I've been working on myself is trusting myself, one thing that I feel like didn't get, like, I wanted to speak more about that I thought was really important is, she talked about that piece about it's being brave to ask for help. And we did talk a little bit about that, but right before that, she had shared how, there's all these hats that we wear, right? And she's also a mom. So she's wearing this mom hat. And there's so much pressure to be a good mom, on top of wearing loads of other hats. And, I just think that it's so brave to be like, there is a lot going on. I'm overwhelmed and I need help. And that it's okay.
Yeah, and just all the external environmental and societal pressure that we feel all around us all the time. And I loved the way Mimi expressed that when she turned 30, she felt immediately like everything I've done up until this point isn't good enough, right? And I feel like a lot of us can relate to those types of feelings, especially when you hit a milestone age like that. I know I certainly felt like that when I hit 30. And now that I'm encroaching on 39 and 40, I still feel like that, even though I've accomplished a lot over the past almost full decade of my life. But I really resonated with that part too, because it's scary to reach a place in your life. And sometimes it is just like, you get asked, do you feel different on your birthday? Do you feel a year older? And it's just like every once in a while you hit a number and you're like, actually kind of. And maybe you don't feel it in your body, but in your thoughts, you may start to
shift.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
And I just love how honest and real she was about it all.
Right. Well, and in that, like that aha moment of like, wait, things are not working right now at 30. The fact that she actively made changes, because I am sure a lot of us have been in situations where things aren't working, but yet it's comfortable enough that we stay. And so the fact that she acknowledged like this isn't working and then she actively worked to make those changes, it's just really inspiring.
Yeah. And she does such amazing work, and she's helping so many people in her home state of Georgia. And she's just a light. And it was so great to relive this convo. We hope you all enjoyed listening to Mimi. Thank you for being with us here this week and every week, Warriors. We love you so, so much. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your wins of the week. We want to hear if some of these strategies and things you're listening to us and our guests share on the pod are helpful or working for you or your family or your students in some small way. Please feel free to reach out to us at anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at Anxiety Warriors Podcast. We'd love to have you be part of our fam. If you are interested in being a guest on the pod, we'd love to hear that too. So we hope to hear from you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this journey.
Yes. Till next time, Warriors. We love you.